Namaste children. Today let us learn about resource planning. What is the need of resource planning? We know resources are inevitable for the existence of human beings. At the same time, many resources are unevenly distributed over the earth, and some important resources like minerals are non-renewable. This necessitates to develop some planning program to make use of the resources in a judicious way. In India, some regions are rich in certain type of resources, but these states are deficient in some other type of resources. For example, the state of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh are rich for mineral resources, but they are lacking in case of agricultural resources. Arunachal Pradesh has abundance of water resources but lacks in infrastructural resources. The state of Rajasthan is very well rich for solar and wind energy but lacks for water resources. The cold desert of Ladakh is relatively rich for cultural heritage, but it is known for deficient in water and other vital minerals. So this necessitates to develop some planning program for the balanced development of the country at the regional, state and national level. Now let us learn about resource planning in India. Being a developing nation, India should formulate very systematic planning program to make use of the resources in a proper way. So, the resource planning in India include 3 steps. The first step include identification and inventory of resources. On this stage, we are locating the regions of resources. We are surveying the total available resources. We are finding the quantity and quality of the resource. Now the second step include evolve a planning structure connected to the skill, technology and institutional arrangement of the country. That means during the second step we are thinking about the technological advancement, skill and the institutional setup of the nation. And the third step is very important. The third step of resource planning of India shows the matching the resource development plans with the national development plans. That means while you formulate the resource development program in India, that should be matching with the national development program of the government. Okay, that is why it is said that resource planning in India is very complex and crucial. Okay.
Okay children, we have already discussed about the importance of resource planning and the steps of resource planning in India. It is a fact that resources are unevenly distributed over the earth. As far as India is concerned, some states are rich in case of some resources and the same states are deficient in case of some other resources. So that forced us to develop resource planning program. But mere resources are not enough. Besides resources, proper technology also needed to make use of that thing as a resource. We know that water is a natural resource and we can develop that water resource to meet our needs. And if you wanted to meet some important needs like hydroelectricity, we must have the technology of generating electricity from water. So that technology must be there. Only then we can make use of this resource to meet that need. Just like that, mineral resources are there which are distributed over different states of our country. So we can make use of these mineral resources only if we have the extraction technology, only if we have the technology to refine it to meet our needs. So besides the availability of resources, what else we are in need of? Technological advancement. Or besides resources or in addition to resources, We must have proper technology to use these resources to meet the requirement of human beings. Okay, so the history of colonial period in India teaches us the same thing. We know that India had been under the Britishers for many years, and India was rich for many resources during that time. That is what attracted the foreigners to India. And these countries like Britain and all were very advanced in case of technology. Industrial revolution started in Europe. So British authority came to India to exploit our resources with the help of their technology. At the same time, those nations were not rich in case of resources. India was rich in case of resource, but we lagged in case of what? Technology. But countries like Britain, they were very rich in case of technology. So that developed technology they had used to exploit our resources. So the story of colonization teaches the lesson that mere resource is not enough. Along with that, proper developed technology is also needed to make use of the resource in a proper way. Okay, children? Okay, children. Now let us learn about resource conservation. We know that resources are unevenly distributed over the earth, and many resources like air, water and sunlight are universal and they are renewable, and there is no matter whether it may be finished. But some other resources like minerals are non-renewable. There comes the importance of resource conservation. Resource conservation means correct use of resources or proper use of resources without any wastage. Proper use of resources without any wastage is termed as what? Resource conservation. So resource conservation is closely connected to sustainable development. We have already discussed about the term sustainable development, proper use of resource, in such a way that besides meeting the needs of the present generation, we need to keep a part of it to the next generation. For that, we should keep the environment in a very balanced way, or you should protect the environment. Just suppose you are at the school and your mother is making cookies at home. Your younger brother began to eat it, and when you come back from the school, you are not getting anything. Okay, so will you be happy? No. So this is the basic principle behind sustainable development. We should think about the needs of the the people who are coming next, or the next generation. We should think about the people who are not getting enough resources. There comes the importance of sustainable development. So this resource conservation is very crucial, and it is highly strategic in the present situation, because our nation is struggling for achieving development of the region as a whole. So on this context, it is very important to develop programs for the proper use of resources without any wastage. Our national father Gandhiji had his own view regarding resource conservation. Gandhiji said that over the earth there are enough resources to meet everybody's need. There are enough resources to meet everybody's need. But these resources are not at all matching to meet the need of any few people's greed. So resources are not there to meet the greed, but there are enough resources to meet the need of all. We know the difference between need and greed. According to Gandhiji, greedy people are the main responsible people or sect in the society for the disappearance or depletion of resources. Some people with their money power and muscle power are over exploiting the resources. So according to Gandhiji, they are responsible for the depletion of resources. At the same time, if you are utilizing resources according to your need, there are enough or there are more than enough, because there is a limit for need, and unlimited need is known as greed. So resources are not there to meet the need, to meet the greed of few people or even one single person, whereas there are enough resources to meet the need of all the people. Besides, Gandhiji always developed programs for the equalitarian existence of the society. Gandhiji promoted equality, we know, and he said that the production of things by using resources must be in such a way that it should provide equal status to the people in the society. So that he promoted production by the masses instead of mass production. All the people are involving in the process of production, but Gandhiji promoted production by the masses instead of mass production. What is the difference between these two situations? Production by the masses means so many people are involving in the process of production, whereas mass production means a few group of people or one single person is involved in the production process and he is producing more for his own sake. So that is why Gandhiji always said against what? Mass production, and he promoted what? Production by the masses, so that all the people who are involved in the process of production may get the reward. Okay, children, so it is very important to note that Gandhiji's viewpoints regarding this resource conservation is to be formulated for the proper development of the nation through resource development. Okay, children, so resource development should be done in such a way that we should think about sustainability and we should develop the programs for resource conservation. Okay. With this, we are completing today's topic, and further topics may be discussed in the next class. Okay, thank you. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, had his own vision on the principles of sustainable development and resource conservation. While the world was on the brink of war, Gandhiji was thinking about the betterment of human life and ecological balance. There is enough for everybody's need and not for anybody's greed. It means that the earth has abundant resources to satisfy everyone's need, but not enough to satisfy the greed of even one person. Gandhiji was against mass production, and he wanted to replace it with production by the masses, which ensure better involvement of common people in the process of production.